new moves and new threats by President Trump to send the National Guard into blue states over the objections of governors.
One day, very soon, we're all going to sit around and look back nostalgically on the good old days of justice, due process, and probable cause. And that's not hyperbole, because that train is pulling out of the station. Really, you should say goodbye.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too. I really look.
What are you doing?
She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry. When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
Here's what's happened, because it's happened before. The American public got lazy, and all of us forgot how fragile the American experiment is. We assumed that everyone felt the same about equality and found comfort in those rote little proclamations like the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star-Spangled Banner. But it was all a lie.
A flag burning mob, and we've made it 1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said, you have freedom of speech. We're going on that basis. We're looking at it not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strongly about, but never passed the courts.
This thing, a crude, boorish, deviant pedophile, aimed his remarkable sociopathic con at America's Cracker Barrel crowd. And it hit a home run like Aaron Judge.
Is in Leviticus 18, is that thou shalt lay with another man shall be stoned to death.
Why are you forcing your lifestyle over on me?
Who's forcing you to be gay?
Joe Biden and his crew.
Joe Biden's forcing you to be gay?
No, not forcing me. Make sure you get that right. I ain't gay and ain't got nothing to do with it.
Man titties tapped into our differences and with the help of Putin and an assortment of Republicans divided the U.S. in half. Well, not really in half, but we'll get to that. But suddenly, in less than 8 years, we are on the verge of losing everything. Not just the elections that Trump is already targeting, but the very freedoms that define us.
We're not going to stop at just arresting the violent criminals we can see in the streets. Fighting crime is more than just getting the bad guy off the streets. It's breaking down the organization brick by brick. Just like we did with cartels, we're going to take the same approach, President Trump, with Antifa. Destroy the entire organization from top to bottom. We're going to take them apart. Thanks to your bold leadership and the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization, which is exactly what they are, Americans will no longer tolerate their unhinged violence.
That is Pam Bondi, implying that Antifa will be treated as terrorists, meaning executed, which is pretty fucked up on quite a few levels. First, there is no Antifa. It's not an organization with an address and a website. They don't even have email. Antifa is simply American citizens organizing to fight fascism. It's in their name, anti-fascist. They protest loudly and with conviction. But unlike ICE, they aren't dragging citizens off the street and throwing them in foreign prisons. Now, if you want to find terrorists, well, shit, that's easy. But first, let's define it. A terrorist would be a person or persons who violently attack our institutions and try and destroy our way of life. God damn, that rings a bell. Where have I seen that before? Oh, yeah.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
House members, they're all walking over now through the tunnels.
And the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization.
Pam, you nasty little C. You, not Antifa, are the criminal terrorist organization. Let's be specific. When you were Florida's AG, Trump bribed you with $25,000 and you immediately dropped the investigation into his corrupt Trump University. And now you are protecting a man accused by 2 young teenagers of sexual assault. You went from,
It's sitting on my desk,
to not even answering this question.
Let me ask you something else. There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen any such thing?
Yeah, you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein?
How can you not answer that disturbing question? And we know these photos exist.
I know that these pictures exist. 2 of them with topless girls of an uncertain age sitting on Trump's lap.
Trump admitted he knew Epstein for 15 years, even stating that Epstein, quote, likes beautiful women as much as I do. In 2021, as part of Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, it was revealed that Donald Trump lied about riding on Epstein's plane. He actually flew on it 7 times.
And your qualifications to be Attorney General, they're a joke. And once you became Attorney General, well, it got worse.
Yes.
Would you have hired someone into the Florida Attorney General's office who you knew had an enemies list?
Senator, to cut to the chase, you're clearly talking about Kash Patel. I don't believe he has an enemies list.
We're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice.
But Barbie here is the spokeshole for a vast criminal conspiracy that began when Trump took office in 2016 after Putin's successful campaign to divide America.
I remember this from Helsinki. They're asking Putin directly in Helsinki.
Found in an appropriate
Did you want
legal
President
framework.
Trump to win the election, and did you direct any of your officials to help him do that?
Да, я хотел, чтобы он выиграл. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And Republicans like McConnell took millions of dollars in Russian political donations. And the Republican GOP followed Trump's demands to frame Biden. And they failed.
With all due respect, the Republicans need better investigators because they've got a lot of circumstantial evidence, but they have not shown that Joe Biden profited personally or that he broke any rules.
And now Bondi is joining Trump to go after the Jimmy Kimmels and anyone else who speaks against the dictator.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech.
Look, this isn't crazy speculation. Trump is considering the Insurrection Act, which has no time limit. I mean, Trump could theoretically stop elections until he thought it was safe. And with hundreds of thousands of armed, masked soldiers in American cities, almost exclusively blue American cities, the question isn't why would Trump do it, but why wouldn't he? And it all goes back to Epstein. If Trump leaves office in 2028, and the hats are a harbinger of his true intentions,
Donald John Trump is going to raise his hand on a King James Bible and take the oath of office. His third victory,
he will be prosecuted by the feds in the states. There is no doubt. He has left a criminal legacy that makes Capone look like an altar boy. So why would he leave? Now, the question is simple math. There are approximately 250 million Americans who are eligible to vote, but only 80 million voted for Trump, and 90 million didn't vote at all. So does Trump have enough juice to convince a majority of Americans to allow him to pause democracy for his own benefit? And who, other than Trump's creepy cabal of tiny dick Nazis, are ready to go all the way? So who will support the dissolution of our democratic republic? Well, as I mentioned, the founders thought we had enough sense to not fuck with their framework. A framework with built-in weaknesses like the Electoral College, which was conceived so slave states like Virginia could count their slaves as 3/5 of a human, and the presidential powers that would allow the aforementioned Insurrection Act to create a police state, and of course the Supreme Court's unforeseen powers with only 9 people shaping our cultural and legal landscape. 9 people? One would hope that the guiding judicial powers of a nation, as powerful and complex as ours, would have more people making these decisions than a pickup basketball game. As I speak to you, Trump is ready to send more troops into American cities, despite crime already down in the cities like Portland. And here's another question for Republicans. Where are the troops in Houston, Birmingham, Indianapolis, Richmond, Louisville, and swing state cities like Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Detroit, and St. Louis? All of these cities compete with Chicago in the number of murders per 100,000. It's not complicated because MAGA doesn't care if you see what's happening. Perhaps a real surprise is not that we stand at this dangerous precipice, but that we allowed this fat fuck to take us there. So that leaves me thinking that maybe it's time Antifa got a website and email address and an army of 230 million people who didn't vote for this.
Whether the women like it or not.
Go fuck yourself.
Goddamn right.
I kept my underwear on.
A witch hunt.
Suck my fat one.
You're a nasty person.
I think the president is definitely f***ing Satan.
They know how to get to me. They had what?
Bloated and fat and disgusting.
We're a nation that speaks English.
Look, if something like that thing's ugly.
Who you talking to?
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.